What's going on, guys? Climate Data Report here with the weather update for today's severe weather threat for Friday, March 31st, 2023. You may notice we're doing a mobile update today. It's because I'm in town on business, which I can't get out of, but here we are, so let's try and do this because it's very important we get an update out today. The moderate risk. Remember yesterday there was a double moderate risk, twin moderate risk as I was calling it? It's been consolidated into one large moderate risk. The tornado threat is pretty unanimous up and down. However, I will say this, the threat right now, from my eyes, looks to be the biggest. The worst of the threat looks to be in Iowa and portions of Illinois. Why am I saying that? Because unfortunately, you guys have the sun out right now. On a day like today, you don't want to see sunshine. And you do have an area of clearing that has happened in your area. Your atmosphere is destabilizing, it's heating up. Couple that with a strong area of low pressure and very high shear, yes, you have a recipe for disaster. So let's take a look at the update today from the SPC. Little Rock, Arkansas, you're just outside of the moderate risk. For any places I say that are just outside of the moderate risk, please don't take that lightly. It doesn't matter if you're 1 mile in a moderate risk or 1 mile out of a moderate risk. Your threat is pretty much the same. This is a really juicy setup that has a lot of energy. Memphis, Tennessee, you're in it today. Jackson, you're in it. Nashville, you're in the enhanced risk. So, I mean, that's something you don't want to take lightly either. Springfield, Illinois, you're in moderate risk for today. Des Moines, Iowa, you're about 1 mile out of the moderate risk. Please do not take this risk lightly. Peoria, in Illinois, you're in the moderate risk. Chicago, you're in an enhanced risk. But I'll tell you this much. Would not surprise me if we hear those winky wonky spooky tornado sirens going off in Chicago tonight on the web cameras, or maybe you live in Chicago. Don't be surprised if you hear them going off tonight because this is a very dangerous threat. Alrighty, let's take a look at some more of the outlook. And I will say this, the enhanced risk, it now goes into Cincinnati. So yes, the enhanced risk has spread further east because the wind threat is going to hang on longer than previously thought. Here you go, 15% hatched area of tornadoes basically from Des Moines, Iowa, all the way down to Little Rock, Arkansas. If you're anywhere in this red area where there's hatched, this is extremely dangerous. Continuing on, wind threat today. The wind threat is there. There's a 45% chance of wind damage within either side of 25 miles for portions of eastern Iowa and western Illinois. Surrounding that, you have a large hatched area of 30% wind damage for a large number of people. In fact, 33 million people are in 30% wind. And I should mention, let's go back to tornado. The 15% area of tornado, that includes 10.3 million people. So yes, this is a large area. We are talking some population here. Here's the hail threat. The hail threat for today, it's not as great as the other parameters. It's not as great as the other parameters or other things that we're concerned about. But as you can see here, there's a 30% hail area on the north side and on the south side, and then hatched 15% for the rest of the areas. But again, it's not the biggest concern. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, let's take a look at the HRRR model, shall we? Let's kind of try and time this out. But before we do that, there is one other thing I wanted to show you. This is a screenshot that I saw, and I thought this needs to be shared. Here's that area of sunshine clearing in Iowa, eastern Iowa and western Illinois. Very concerning. That means it's generating more energy, it's destabilizing, it's heating up. This is an area of great concern for supercell thunderstorms with long-track, violent tornadoes. We really have to pay attention to that area. All right, moving on to the HRRR model real quickly. And on the HRRR model, we'll use the 12Z run because we want to take it through tomorrow. Let's go hour by hour here. You can see currently there's the warm front. It is starting to show signs of progressing northeast. It's over the Ohio Valley right now. As it progresses northeast, you will have some elevated convection with that. As you can see, as we get into this afternoon, initiation, it's going to be probably any time between 1 o'clock and about 3 o'clock. You'll probably already have storms starting to go up. They're going to form as supercell thunderstorms. They may get going relatively quickly, especially as you're closer to the area of low pressure. you can see it quickly tries to form into a squall line on the southern side, and we do expect that after a period of time it will turn into a QLCS. For those who don't know what that is, that's a quasi-lunar convective system, which is an organized area of thunderstorms containing wind damage. And as we continue to advance this, the threat's going to get to Chicago tonight, anywhere between about 8 o'clock and 11 o'clock tonight. That is your big time to watch. You will have an initial cluster of thunderstorms. Then you have this squall line that gets going in Iowa and Missouri, and that's your big squall line. And that, as it initiates, could have strong, long-tracked tornadoes west of Illinois and then moving into Illinois. I don't think the tornado threat is as big as it is west of Chicago when you get to Chicago, but nonetheless, there is definitely a tornado potential in Chicago. And like I said, I think it's possible you could hear your tornado sirens going off tonight anywhere in the areas that I'm mentioning for today. You're definitely, it's fair game for a tornado. Eventually, it will transition to a bigger wind threat, and I think that's going to happen as it gets to Chicago, eastern Illinois, Kentucky, and then as it gets into Indiana and even Ohio, it remains as a wind threat. But again, isolated tornado or two can't be ruled out. On the southern side of this risk, you have the QLCS. Sometimes a QLCS can have pockets of rotation. So while it will mainly be a wind threat for you going into tonight, tornadoes cannot be ruled out as well. And yeah, some could be strong or long tracked with this. As we continue to advance this, the squall line does make its way into Ohio. But by eastern Ohio, West Virginia, eastern Tennessee, it does start to get weaker. It remains more organized on the southern side for a longer period of time. But by the time this enters Pennsylvania, we do anticipate it will be weaker. There could still be an isolated severe thunderstorm. And by the time it gets to eastern Pennsylvania, we're just talking about some rain for that area. As we head into tomorrow, look at this. We have another round of severe weather in the northeast. Mainly a wind threat. I'm not going to rule out the isolated chance of a tornado, but mainly a wind threat. As temperatures ahead of tomorrow's squall line will get into the mid-70s on the southern half of it in southeast Pennsylvania and South Jersey. And on the north side, hey, upstate New York, southern Vermont, you may actually get into the 60s tomorrow, which is the warmest temperatures you have had in a very long time. Alrighty, that pretty much does it for today's outbreak. If you live anywhere in the moderate risk area today, if you can get home early, by all means, do so. Go home early. If you can pick up your kids early, maybe they're getting dismissed early, get home early, because you do not want to be out and about this afternoon. Things are going to deteriorate rapidly, and a storm is going to form in your area relatively quick. It could come up on you quickly, and you're not going to have enough time to get to your safe space if you're not home, because these storms are going to be moving fast, and they're going to be furious and dangerous. All right, thanks for watching. We'll try and have another update this evening. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button down below. I'll see you all again next time, and please, if you're in today's risk area, please stay safe.